Dr. Isaac Bogoch is an infectious disease specialist. He joins me now. Dr. Bogoch, good to see you again. Thanks for taking time to speak with me. We learned today that the Pfizer vaccine proving 95% effective now, and particularly so for older people, most at risk. How important is that news on the vaccine front?
It's tremendous. So they finished their trial. They basically enrolled 43,000 people. They had about 170 events. The vast majority of those events, meaning the case of COVID-19, were in people with who had the placebo, not the vaccine. Shows that the vaccine looks like it provides pretty significant protection against the virus. Looks like even people that got the vaccine, it looks like in the study there were 10 cases of severe infection. 9 of those were in the placebo group. Only 1 of those was in the vaccine group. There's a lot to be excited about. Also, they talk about pretty mild or nothing too severe in terms of the side effects that they reported in the study. This is still science by press release. We need to see the full data, but there is certainly room for optimism here.
I guess the big question for Canadians is how quickly we get this vaccine or another one for use in Canada. How long would you expect that to take now?
Well, it's interesting because we've heard actually from Dr. Anthony Fauci that they may have vaccine programs rolling out in the United States in the 2020 calendar year, which is outstanding. Canada, I think we have to be more realistic and think about the first quarter of 2021. We certainly have access to this vaccine. This is the Pfizer one. We also have access to the Moderna vaccine. It's not entirely clear when we'll get the vaccine. I mean, there's still a little bit that needs to be done on this front. We also have to have this go through Health Canada and have Health Canada give it the green light after looking at all the data. And quite frankly, we have to figure out the logistics behind administering this vaccine across the country. We know the federal government's taking pretty quick steps to figure that out right now.
Right. I want to drill down a bit on that with you, but you touched on it. It's pretty remarkable, isn't it, that Pfizer is actually providing its vaccine trial information to other countries such as Canada and actually providing what's called this rolling submission to regulators in different countries in real time. How does that change the whole regulatory process and, in fact, the ability to speed up that process here in Canada?
Yeah, it's a really smart move. Typically a study will be finished and then the people running the study will send everything to the FDA or Health Canada, and then they take the time to pore over the data, look at the side effects, look at the benefits, and make a decision at the end of the day. But with this rolling approval process, basically a lot of these companies are just passing over their data to these regulatory bodies as they get it. So the regulatory bodies can look at it in real time. And by the time the study is complete, they're already up to date. They don't have to start from scratch. They hit the ground running. So it just shortens the time from the completion of a trial to hopefully the approval of a safe and effective vaccine to roll out in the community. The other interesting thing, too, is that, we've in Canada been looking at ways to deploy vaccines long before a vaccine has become available. This has been months and months ago, but Canada purchased 37 million vials to administer a vaccine that doesn't exist. We're looking at how we can ship very, very cold and frozen vaccines across the country in preparation for this. So a lot of work is being done so that the time window between when we have approval and when we get access to the vaccine and finally administer the vaccine is as short as possible.
Well, lots of questions being asked about the rolling this vaccine out and whether you've touched on it, whether enough preparation has been done. Are you satisfied with what you've heard about how once we do get this vaccine in Canada, who's going to get it first, how it's going to be shipped to the provinces? You mentioned it's that's 75 minus 75. This particular vaccine needs to be stored at. Are you satisfied enough planning has gone in so that the federal government's ready to hit the ground running when this happens?
It's hard to know. It really is hard to know. And we hear snippets of information from the federal government saying that they're looking into this and that they're enrolling private industry to help. And we've heard the Army might be involved. But I don't actually know what the details are. And certainly the logistical hurdles are meaningful. Like, they're real logistical hurdles. We really need to overcome them. It is going to be challenging. But I sort of take a step back and think, the big challenge is to develop a vaccine for an infection that we never know existed a year ago, not how to keep that vaccine cold and ship it around the country. We can do this. We certainly can do it. It's going to take some preparation, some money, some planning, some resources, but I think we can do this.
All right. Well, very quickly, we know what's happening with this vaccine in trials and the 95% success rate. What questions do you still have about what that actually means or what could be different about applying this to a general community in a country such as Canada when it is rolled out?
Oh, lots of questions still remain, and I think some of them will be answered by the trial, and some of them we're just going to need time. One of them is, how long is immunity going to last? How will this actually work? Like, how effective is this going to be in real-world settings? I don't imagine it's going to be 95%. It might, but even if it's close to that, it'd be amazing. But how effective will this be in real-world settings? What is the safety profile when we roll this out to potentially millions and millions of people, not just 43,000 people in a trial? Lots of questions to be asked.
All right, Dr. Isaac Bogoch, it's always great to hear from you. Thanks for your time today.
Have a great day.